Commissioner Patterson, would you lead us in the fire fleet?
Let's pray. Lord gracious Heavenly Father, we want to start this meeting the right way by asking your blessings on it. Thank you for the rain last night, Lord. We needed the rain. You always know exactly what we need. I asked that you would be with us as commissioners, that you would open our minds to your will and pleasing you, Lord. And thank you for the people that are here tonight, Lord, the citizens that are interested in Fannin County and come out to support and to give input. Lord, I just pray that you would just be with all of us. Forgive us of our sins now. And again, give us wisdom as we approach tonight and do your business. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Join me, please, and pledge allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Number 2 under unfinished business, we approve the minutes of the June 8th, 2021 regular scheduled board meeting. Commissioner Patterson, any errors or omissions in the minutes?
No, I've looked at it and I'm fine with the minutes.
Commissioner Surson?
no, sir, everything looked good.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from the June 8th, 2021 regular scheduled board meeting. Get a second?
I second it.
All in favor? Okay. Okay, also under number 3, or unfinished business number 3, award of bid proposal for Fannin County LMIG 2021 asphalt pavement project of 8th Street, Tennis Court Road, and Dial Road. Mr. Ratcliffe.
Yes, sir. With great consideration on this and some with the amounts of money that we're talking about here, we're thinking about going with Johnson Paving because it is a local company. He does hire local folks, and I feel that's a good reason to do that. Also, he has in the specs we had is he does have a paver with an 8-foot streak, and that's what we asked for. And right now he's the only one that has that paper, so that's where we're at with that.
Okay.
You know, what was the price again with Johnson's? Just wanted to make sure.
Well, $1,128,600.
And he can get to it pretty quickly.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I think Justin Foster with Johnson Paving, thank you. We definitely, obviously, weather's an issue, but the idea would be to get in there on y'all's terms and try to get started and minimal impact and do you guys a great job.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Surson?
Keeping that tax money in the county sounds good to me.
Well, I'll ask for a motion that we award the bid proposal to Johnson Paving.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Very much appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
While I got your attention, another item. We have a piece of equipment out there. We've got a piece of equipment out there. It is a 2007 model Caterpillar track hoe. It's actually a hydraulic excavator. It's on tires. It's very, very unusable for us. It's very dangerous for us to use. I've had everybody on it. Nobody likes it. Everybody complains. So we don't use it. That thing's sitting out there. It's sort of in a I guess, layman terms, sitting up there rusting away. So I'd like to trade that in for something we can use, which would be a Caterpillar skid steer. And they're offering us, they're offering us $32,000 for this piece of equipment. That's, I mean, everything I can find is we're in the ballpark right there. So with this deal, the skid steer that we're looking at is $72,845. With $32,000 trade-in, we'll be out in cash for that machine will be $40,845. And that's with the warranty that comes with it. We'll probably talk about some more warranty on down the road. But right now, we've just got 2 years bumper to bumper warranty. We spec this thing out, and this is something that we definitely could use. We have one that's on the rubber tires. This is a track machine, and we can definitely use this out on the road. The rubber tire machine is absolutely useless out on the road, so I would like to ask for that, if you don't mind.
Is it safe to say that, where the funds come from for this, so that people understand that it comes out of the splosh?
Correct. It does.
Right, yeah.
Yes, it
I
does.
make a motion that you get that.
I second.
All in favor?
Something we can use.
That's right.
And we'll make it, I know it's approved, but, so we've had that other piece of equipment for 14 years.
Yes. Very few hours we've put on, very few.
And this way we get something we can
Yes,
use
it's-
on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Brand new piece of equipment.
Yes, sir. It's brand new. It's something I'm sure will be used today.
All right. Well, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Okay, number 4 is the discussion on the moratorium of the issuance of any special event license for alcoholic beverages in the unincorporated area of Fannin County until the amendment of the alcohol license ordinance is completed. Ms. Stoff, would you care to elaborate on this for us?
Gentlemen, as we talked about, our ordinance doesn't per se say what we do in special events, but we know we're a tourist town, a tourist community. And we also have a lot of events that are not necessarily driven towards tourists. One that comes quickly to mind is the Humane Society's event, Taste of Fannin, where they generate huge amounts of sun to take care of animals. There's been things that have been held in the past for family connections. That brings to mind, we have the jazz festivals coming up. And most of these things previously took place inside the city of Blue Ridge, primarily because they were the only game in town. But now there's venues out in the county. And so I thank you for giving us enough time to kind of look at it. I did have the opportunity, I saw the sheriff and I've had opportunities to talk about, do we need to have a requirement that there be a officer there per so many people, and his position is there's no history of these things having a problem. We've got 911, that typically people that come to these things, it's a ticketed event, so you're already paying money to go there, and people tend to be on their best behavior. And so, that being said, we still have to know who's doing what, and we're still not to the point that, nothing can take place on Sundays, and this is for a limited period of time. It can't be more, my proposal to you can't be more than 2 calendar days consecutive. That would give the opportunity, so if somebody wanted to start a festival on Friday afternoon, they could run it through Saturday night. And then in short order, before the end of the year, our objective as a board and mine as your council is to have our ordinance updated. Not just this ordinance, but many of our ordinances updated. But this would allow somebody to know who's doing what. The wonderful thing is they still have to meet all state requirements. The big thing we're not requiring them to do is have a commercial kitchen.
But these events that we're talking about, that is not going to be necessary for the law enforcement. It's going to be on private property anyway.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There's no liability toward us.
Oh, absolutely no liability. Nothing
That's
nothing would be happening on anything other than private property. And that's a great thing to mention here. We don't have any provision for somebody coming in and saying, I'd like to rent the big pavilion out at Horseshoe Bend Park. We just don't have that in place.
But let me ask you a question. can we put in there, on any of our properties, do we not say that, you must hire a certified officer, but the minimum pay is $30 an hour?
Well, if we ever were to allow that on county property,
Yeah.
we certainly can, and that's something we'd be looking at the ordinance itself before the end of the year. But this is literally for private events on
Right.
private property, but open to the general public. Well,
Gotcha.
some of them might not be, some of them might be totally private.
Okay. It's good to me.
So again, there would be no liability. on
None
our part
whatsoever.
On private property.
That is correct, sir.
And none of these have been on county property.
That is correct, sir.
When was this going to affect?
Well, if you approve it, it would go into effect tonight, and right now, it would run, it doesn't have an end date, because I don't know exactly whether or not we're gonna get the ordinance in place first meeting in December, or the first meeting in January, or some specially called. And so that's why I didn't put a specific end date.
What department does that go through? In the courthouse?
I think it
It
goes
goes through the commissioner's office.
all that paperwork currently, and that's something else we may want to look at, and when you have an ordinance enforcement officer, it may go through that person. But right now, the form would be available in the commissioner's office.
Do we have a fee for that?
It's just $50 is the proposal, just because there has to be some consideration for a license, and if, for example, Patrick throws a big shindig down there in his pasture, and, you know.
Well, you're in trouble.
Sheriff gets 3 calls, and 911 gets 4 calls, and the city of Blue Ridge has to come over and help. When he comes back and asks for another one, the answer's going to be no.
You're done.
And so you do have that discretion. You do have that discretion.
Could I ask a quick question?
Sure.
There
About
was some,
Patrick's party?
no, I'd be the one complaining, I'm his neighbor. There was some language in there about, the sheriff revoking that permit.
You would have, by law, you have the right to revoke such a permit if somebody, your office does. If somebody just was under the same rules, sir, that you could arrest somebody for, you know, violating, being a public nuisance, a public drug.
Probably if it was unruly.
Yeah, I got it, but, that part of it, but you talking about right then and there on the spot and have them disperse?
If it was that bad, yes, sir.
Okay, I got you. All right, I was just making sure that's what that language
Yes,
was
sir.
intended.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. It wouldn't be, I don't like Patrick, and he's my neighbor, and he can't have a party.
Yeah,
It would
yeah.
be, Patrick, I've heard about your parties, I'm standing here, I can't believe you're actually doing this.
Yeah, okay, it just, since it had a 2-day cap on it, I was just gonna make sure
Yeah,
that's
I
what
mean,
that meant.
I can only imagine that something like that would be really bad.
Yeah, that would be very rare. I'm just trying to make sure I understand what all these responsibilities are that y'all are putting on me.
Keeping
I
Patrick in line.
think it's basically what we discussed, you know, earlier, you know your responsibilities on that. I mean, I have the same little bit here in the city.
But, and I'm gonna ask too, is there some kind of verbiage in it that would be added that would say that the state would still mandate that as far as it being a public assembly and poured out?
The state won't give them a license.
No, but they would have the authority to come in and tell them actually how they needed to do
Private
stuff.
Oh, yeah,
No,
but,
that's,
but,
if it's a public assembly. you
She
know.
said it's a ticketed assembly. She didn't say it was open to the public, she said it was ticketed.
but what I think you're saying is that you still have to meet all applicable, just because you got this license doesn't mean that any of the other state requirements go away.
You still kind of get the state requirement regardless.
Yes, sir.
So, Ms. Dawes, to be clear, well, we're gonna have to be voting for each venue?
No, no.
Okay, you've got paperwork, you look it over. and
Yes,
if
I mean,
an
there's a
issue-
requirement, and I promise you, I don't know whether it'll be Ms. Walker or who it'll be down there signing off on, but don't call me. I mean, we've had this happen in the past. Hey, what's the answer? That's how I knew about the problem. Somebody walked in, it was, and Sherry picked up the phone and called me, and she said, hey, what's the answer? How do we do this?
So they have to fill out a
Yes,
form,
right.
paperwork, and we look
Right.
at it.
They have to prove, just like anything else, to do business with the county, they have to prove that they're a citizen here legally. Whether or not they're an immigrant with a green card, or whether or not they're a Georgia resident, they have to prove that they have the authority to be here and to conduct any business before they even get past step one.
And they can have as many venues as they want. I mean, last time we talked about 2 or something, is that?
Well, we're restricting them to the number of days. And,
Yeah.
and the way we're doing it, you basically takes away Sunday and Monday. And if you can't have more than 2 consecutive, so if you got a Monday and a Tuesday, that eliminates Wednesday. So I think we've kind of backed into what would be either a Thursday, Friday, or a Friday, Saturday scenario until we get, all the things we need to do with the ordinance in
They
place.
could, if they wanted to, actually have 4 venues, 1
Absolutely.
each weekend.
That is correct, because there's the number of people that actually meet the state requirements are much fewer than you think. Because the state requires you to have all sorts of things, and like I say, it's on private property, so we're not policing insurance, and we're not policing,
We have no liability.
any of that, because like she said, we don't have any liability.
Okay. Thank you, thank you.
Any other discussion?
No, sir.
Everybody's seen the wording as far as this goes, and we're in agreement with this. Has everybody looked at the wording on this? Paper? I guess this would be, the time we vote to,
End the
end the moratorium and
enact the provisions of the Fannin County special events license requirements.
And this will be until we get the new ordinance ready.
Yes, sir.
okay. I'll ask for a motion that we do away with the moratorium and accept the Fannin County Special Event Alcohol Beverage Permit.
Make a motion.
I'll ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, under new business, number 5, the discussion of vehicle for the Fannin County Health Department. Mr. Bradford, Ms. Hopkins, you want to come up and tell us about this Mack truck into the bank?
I'm going to a party at Patrick's house. Purchasing the need for an additional truck, we only have one, and it was purchased back in 2006, so we were wanting approval from the commissioners to have the same setup that we have with the current truck. To explain a little, we usually get the gasoline from fuel from the county, and then our district office reimburses every month at the federal rate. So it's like the same setup as the county truck that we currently have.
Okay, you couldn't hear?
She's not talking.
Oh, okay. Essentially, we're looking at trying to purchase an additional truck for our department. We're with the Fannin County Environmental Health Department, and we're wanting to get this truck, and we have an existing agreement with a Ford Ranger that we have right now, and we're just looking at, once we can acquire this, that we can add this new truck will be part of our fleet to the existing contract that we have with the county. We can reimburse them for the miles driven at the federal rate.
Is there a great need for this truck?
Yeah, as you can, most folks can kind of look, our county has
Yeah.
grown
Yeah.
over the past few years, and, there's gonna be a time coming where, maybe some of us retire, and if we get new hires, they may not have personal vehicles that have four-wheel drive. And we have to have four-wheel drive wherever we go, we need to access some of these mountain homes and such.
And like currently, like one of us has to use our personal vehicle and put a lot of
So
miles.
we're trying to go ahead and just kind of get ahead of the curve.
And the last time this happened was 15 years ago, right?
2006.
So you're asking for bids for us to allow you to get bids, is that what you want to do?
You only had one bid, you only had one bid come in, right?
Right.
And how much was that bid?
Is it like $26?
I can't remember offhand, I think it was right under 28, I think it was.
Was it local?
Yeah, local enough, it's out of LJ, I couldn't get it.
That ain't local. That ain't local enough.
Yeah, I know.
That's not local enough for us.
I couldn't get the local one to respond after about 3 weeks of calling and.
So you want the Ford?
Yeah. I just knew that's usually what the county dealt with.
Yeah, right.
And this is this a Ranger, is it another F1, is it F-150 or?
Yeah, yes, actually, it's cheaper to get the F-150.
And we're getting, I guess it's a government deal as far as that goes, is that about the?
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
Gentlemen? Mr. Sir?
I have no problem with them needing to, support them on the vehicle. The only problem I got is that I like buying local.
Oh, yeah. I agree with you.
And I can call right now and I can get him on the phone. So, I mean, I like buying local. So, I mean, I'm all for you, hey, I support you. But like I said, I'd like for them to, if this is not we need to go four-wheeler tomorrow, or they're needing it that bad, or you need it right now.
It would be nice, but, as most people know, most of these vehicles are.
If you
sitting a lot
can't,
waiting for shit.
if you can't get a response, let me know, or I'll give you the number and we'll call him direct. But I'd like for you to try local first.
Okay, we can
Because,
try.
I mean, I really would. I just want to buy local.
Right, we left several messages and they gave us two different names, people, and no response, so, but we'll get.
Well, normally people talk to me when the chief calls, so
So they'll respond.
we'll talk to them.
And two, I think the chief is saying that, no one in Fannin County has a monopoly, and we're not, saying, we're gonna make sure that you get it.
Right.
That's not what we're saying.
If you can beat our local prices, go for it, but if somebody can do that, keep that tax money here, I'm buying local.
Right.
Maybe you tell that gentleman next time one of our
I will tell
officers
that.
calls, he needs to call us back,
Because
and wait 3
that's
weeks,
not the
or else
first
we're gonna
time.
Matter of
tolerate.
fact, if you want to take a break, I'll call him right now and tell him about it.
Well, I
We
think
do.
that's happened before.
Oh,
Well,
that's-
it won't
I think
happen
somebody out
again.
here had said that they tried to get him and couldn't get him before.
I'm 100% about buying local, but at the same time, man, don't call me back in 3 weeks, I'm gonna have to go somewhere else.
That's right.
Well, we
We
need,
we all agree on that.
well, we need more than one pigeon. man.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Fine.
there's 3 of us here. But I'm for you, man, but I just want to buy local.
Okay. We'll reach out.
So we'll try to work it out.
Well,
Reach out to them.
how about, how
Okay.
about this, would you give him a call?
I'll give him a call right now if you want
Give him a
to.
call, no, not. Maybe after we get off, or something,
Would you like us to submit to you?
I'd like to know what you want.
Exactly, submit what we were bidded for a certain vehicle, that way.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
LJ,
sir.
LJ,
That's how I do yeah.
Yeah.
There you
Tell me
go.
what you need.
Okay, we'll get it to you tomorrow.
That'd be fine.
Okay, perfect.
Or give it to Sherry and
Thank you.
say that she gets it and she'll tell me and I'll call
We're gonna table this.
We'll table this until the June, or July 13th meeting, I believe that's what it is.
Okay.
So, we'll do that.
But I
All
am
right.
for you, okay? I'm for you. I'm all
Yeah.
right.
I appreciate you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all. Okay, number 6. An announcement of Deputy Director Darrell Payne's retirement. So Darrell, why don't you come up here and,
I'm gonna get a speech to them.
say a few words and,
You got a speech.
you know, Daryl's been with us, I think, what I understand was 50 years.
Feels like it.
38 years.
38.
38 years, so
That's
it's,
great. That's great.
38 years of service to this county. And just in my opinion, it's a role that you never know what you're gonna see when you go out there. And I wouldn't even start to pry, but I can say this, I've seen a lot myself, but it don't compare to what you've been through. We appreciate, I think I can speak for all of us on this, but y'all need to change, but, we appreciate the job you've done for this county for 38 years. And, there'll be some big shoes to fill, ain't no doubt about it. So,
Appreciate it.
we thank you.
It's been an honor to work with the county. All commissioners, 38 years of work as far as you, down through the years. We saw a lot of changes. We saw a lot, EMS, time me and Robert and them started in 82, it's been good changes. The people, the EMS has changed. Fanning's got one of the best emergency services in the state of Georgia, they do. And the support of you guys, the commissioners, that's what makes it happen. And all the employees, one person can't do it all. It's the employees, the volunteers, the other ones that has made this 38 years reality, and it's been good. It's been a good job to have. We saw a lot, been through a lot, but we're close to that family over there. We really are. So we have bad times, they kind of get together and pull you out of it. So but I appreciate it. 38 years for sure.
We appreciate you. Did it go fast?
Yeah.
That's a blink of an eye.
It's a blink of an eye, it sure did. Didn't think it was gonna be this big, but it did.
I kind of felt bad. Pulled him in office, talked to him a little bit, and just kind of going over a few things. Next thing I know, he says you're retiring.
So you were gonna get on trying to chew him out and then.
And he's doing it, and he quit. Just retiring.
Put it back to him, didn't you?
I guess the diabetes and the foot issue came up, and they said, we're just gonna start losing the foot in the foot. I said, I'm not running down no mountains, no fire truck, not gonna build the brakes. Dang, I said, I can't do this. So that's a lot. I've enjoyed it.
Well, Darryl, we started back when, believe it or not, I used to have Sandy Brown type hair. He had it, but it used to be a little bit longer. We had a lot of spring in our walk.
did.
And I remember when you was working with Sequoia Trail, we
Yeah.
talked about that out there under Toby, and
Sure did.
Robert remembers them days.
Oh, yeah.
And so, we've all been through that, and I'm very happy for you.
Appreciate that.
And we've all been together, like you said, a long time.
So I appreciate it.
I appreciate your service to the public.
Thank you.
Certainly been an asset, Darryl.
I appreciate
Great
that.
asset.
Appreciate it a lot.
We wish you nothing but blessings and good health as you move forward. It's a
Appreciate
privilege.
that.
I gotta ask you something, you remember back, and I thought about this, it seems like the older you get, sometimes you sit and wonder, but do you remember when you and some of those boys at Gabriel Elementary used to work us little guys?
Vaguely.
Jason's didn't you?
Yeah, I remember like, Johnny didn't try to get off the bus, it was like, hey, just don't let him off.
Yeah, I know, I mean, get in trouble when we got home. A little bit. But anyways, it's been an
Yeah,
honor.
it has been done, for sure.
So we'll turn it over to Robert Graham here.
Darryl?
I'll echo what they've said. Your service has been invaluable to this county. You've taught me a lot. You've been guiding light for me a lot of times. We've had a good, long ride together.
Yes, we have.
I hate to see you go, but I hope you enjoy your retirement. And the commissioners would like to present you with this watch.
Ah.
Whoops. It has an inscription back. By the way, this is made, I think, of solid wood. Yeah. And I don't know if I can read this or not. Becky, you may have to read it.
I know I can.
We'll have my glasses
It
on.
says, congratulations on your retirement. Thank you for your dedication and service. You'll be greatly missed.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. Good group here.
Can we get a picture with the commissioner's
Shoot
seat?
you, I'll be honored.
we can figure out some way to bring off. Okay, you stand up here with him. By the way, y'all don't know, this is his wife. Sorry. Let's see, do we want to get?
Let's do something different because we're spreading out like
Yeah,
these cats.
How you want to do? What do you want to do, man?
Let's see.
You need to move this up.
Yeah, if we can move that, we'll just get right up here, how that be.
Moving it over there. Well, let's get this right here.
I'll get a shortcut.
Right there.
I'll be outlet. Yeah, that'll do it. And
We don't come over here so we're not off balance.
after you got everybody off balance, we gotta get your party over here. There you go. All right, there you go. Close it right. Not too bad. All right, that's looking good.
Hey, Larry, get one out, please.
Yeah, but smile. One more time. I'll warn you this time. 1, 2, and 3. That do. Not bad for a bunch.
Wait for a second.
Oh, not for who took it, right?
Thank you.
That being said, we'll announce Deputy Director Val Payne's replacement for Fannin County EMS. I'll make a motion that we appoint Becky Huffman to replace Val Payne at the Fannin County EMS. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? All right. Becky.
You gotta say, you gotta talk for 10 minutes.
Actually, yes, I know where she's at.
And we did this several times, trust me, I promise. But we all interviewed, there were several that put their name in the hat.
Good.
And all of them brought something great to the table. They did. But just moving forward, I personally felt that Becky was probably, she's a go-getter. And she don't care to come in there and tell me how she feels, and sometimes that's good and sometimes it's bad, but I appreciate that about her. I think she sees both sides, and she's gonna do what's best for both, and I'm excited. And if I'm not mistaken, this may be the first female that we've had in that position. So, yeah, I'm excited about that too, just to see what you bring to the table. So come on up here and introduce yourself. And just so everybody knows, Becky's got a little limp. She was out on a call, and the deck collapsed, and it broke her ankle. And but she was a trooper, helped out the patient first, and walked right in there like she owned the place, and said,
Still
"That
made her
hurts."
work 40 hours.
Yeah, 46.
46.
40 days.
Story, wasn't it?
Yeah. So, welcome aboard.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And that brings us to number 8. I think you're already
I was gonna start off asking for stuff.
asking for something.
I sent it to you, so y'all got a copy of it, it's
Yeah.
the bid specs for, we're wanting to get a ambulance to replace, Med One, which is a 2008, 2018 Chevrolet. It's got 167,000 miles on it. We're wanting to replace it and get a new one that's gonna be remounted, with the box from a 2013. It's gonna be a remount, which means we'll get a new chassis, but the box will be one that we've already got in existence now with the county. Once we're finished with the remount and everything, the vehicle, the chassis that's coming off of that box, we can repurpose it somewhere in the county, just depending on where it's chosen for. I think it may be that the fire department's wanting to use it, sometimes the road department uses it, so it's gonna continue on, being used, the chassis will. So, we've got until July 26th for them to put in their bids. That's the cutoff, so that we can have it ready to present the bids to y'all, the next commissioners meeting after that.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Just need y'all to give the approval and put out the bid package too.
Do we have to vote on that? Is that just,
You don't have to vote on it
Oh,
this
okay.
time.
All right.
all right, so we're good to go? We can have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And good luck.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Doing a good job, Becky. Thank you.
Okay, number 9, Fire Chief Larry Thomas, new squad vehicle quotes.
Thank you, Chief.
Sir?
You know, I've been waiting to tell you no. I've waited for years.
To tell me no.
To tell you no. I feel like I've accomplished something.
Anyway, let me get my license. And this vehicle that we're using, or that we're asking for, is actually going to replace the squad. And that's what our 2 firefighters use right now, as far as going all across the county, so forth and so on, running on medical calls and fire calls. But what we're looking at is not taking that truck completely out of service, we're passing it down. It's getting a few miles on it as it stands, and it's like we can use the extra room. This is a extended cab forward that we're replacing, and with the quotes that I've got here, they've actually come in for it a little bit cheaper than Dodge. And as far as the Chevrolet quote, we didn't get one from them simply because they couldn't provide the truck because of some of the electronic issues that they would be able to get because they're on back order. Isn't that what they told us in general?
Yeah, they can't even price it right now.
Yeah, they can't, Chevrolet can't even price it right now.
Is all 3 of these, Larry, is these all our dealerships here in the county?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to forward this.
Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't have trouble getting a hold of them, then, did you?
No, and I think Robert had a pretty good idea earlier, though, that the health department might be, well, they're not here right now, I don't guess. But if they could tag on, but Robert and I got together, as you can see in the letter that he had written, that he and I went around and just met with these guys, sat down with them, and told them what we were looking for.
Yeah.
And they got us the quotes. They got us the quotes pretty quick, too.
But you just hit on a good factor right there. If he could talk to them, he can probably get that cheaper than that right there if he bought 2.
It's an F-250.
And that would save us money, that would save the taxpayers money,
Yes.
and also keep that here in the county. So that's a good point, Larry.
Now, this is, I think what they're looking for is an F-150. Or in that.
It don't matter, you buy 2 vehicles from me, I'm gonna give you a break. I mean,
Right.
I don't care if you bought a Volkswagen from me.
Ford come in at 32,007, and then Dodge came in with what they had available with 43,000. So
45.
actually, yeah, I think the bottom line of it.
Oh, 43, you want to be.
With that $1,100 rebate.
This back one here, is this the shit? Yeah, no, it's a done.
Chevrolet didn't give us one, is that what you're saying? Chevrolet didn't get back there.
No,
Oh, shit, you didn't get back with it?
Chevrolet couldn't provide because they were back ordered on some of their control boards or some of their electronic stuff for their trucks. And if they priced it, it might be the end of next year before they could. Wasn't that what he told me?
They said that it would be at least first of the year before they could even think about it. Well, no, they said they could quote it later, probably by the end of July, but they could give us a quote, but if it was ordered, it might be next year before we got it.
Right.
So the Super Duty is the 2,500, right?
Yes, sir.
And they were just wanting the 1,500.
F-150. I want to think I seen one of them, it's like 27 and some change is what it ended up being. 27.7, I believe, for that. And that's with the government deal. Okay.
Okay, where are we?
Out of these two, obviously the Ford's cheaper, Chevrolet didn't get planted for this. Well, this is one thing we need to, pleasure. We need to get her, we need to get some good equipment for these guys to run the roads, and we do, because I remember we had that open house up there, and I think Mr. Patterson, you was with us, and we was looking at that squad truck, and, that, it was one thing we noticed, I mean, it's got some rust on it, and that's not including the idle hours on it, correct?
No, that you're correct.
Okay. And I'm assuming those 140-something thousand are probably not the easiest miles either.
No,
You probably put 100 of them on it, didn't you?
no, sir, I did.
Oh.
He did.
Me and Robert.
Darryl,
Don't get me wrong.
Since he's going
Darryl
out,
on
he's
his way out.
taking the fall.
Yeah, this would be,
I'm telling you.
Taking the fall for the team.
and that's also will be paid out of SPLOST.
And since he
That
ain't
comes
here,
out of splash. I'm happy.
yeah, and two, I think, Lonnie's the one that originally got the truck.
Yeah.
So,
Oliver,
he drove it for a while.
I got you.
Okay.
But now, and we wouldn't take the other one out of service, we'd just move it down to
Right.
another utility hall or something like that, but leave the lights and siren and stuff on,
Sure.
you know, and still utilize that truck. Because
What are you gonna do with it?
well, we've got one, Squad 7 right now, that needs to come out of service.
Why?
And, yeah, it's just.
Piece of junk?
Oh, yes, and
What-
I wouldn't trust it. I won't get the light bar off of it first thing, so, off of Squad 7.
What do we do with this stuff? We just take it out there and let it sit and rot, or we
At the
ever gonna
garage.
have an auction?
Zach and I
We will have an auction.
would love to put it on the auction, correct, Zach? Correct.
I bet you didn't just do tell her to take this off the insurance?
And inventory, yes.
Okay.
Larry, you might mention that there was a gentleman that donated, the lights and siren for the new squad too. He donated a light bar, grill lights, side lights and everything, and a siren for it, and speaker.
Is that a guy from Fannin?
Yeah, it was a local guy.
Good.
He was retired from Macon, Bibb County EMA,
Huh.
and he evidently had this equipment himself for some reason.
Great.
So will that cut down on the $6,500 as far as,
It should help with that, yeah.
Should help with that.
Mhm.
That ain't LED, is it?
It is,
Is
actually,
it?
yeah. It's
Cause
all
I
right.
caught him over there getting my stuff out of my garage one time.
Well, that may be where it came from. I
He said, boy, this looks nice. I said, I bet it would. Get out of there. And they're LEDs? Good.
so we're looking probably around 38, time it's all said and done, 39.
Stickers and all?
Stickers and all, and camper top, and all the goods, less than 40 grand. We need it.
Yeah, need it.
That being said, I'll make a motion that we purchase this truck from original Georgia Ford. In the amount of $32,789.64.
Second.
All in favor? Okay,
Can we still go ahead and put a plug in for the health department? Right?
absolutely.
Please.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
You wanna do that? You want me to?
I can, or Robert can, or Robert and I can go together. That's how we went before. The two local faces show up, they're gonna talk to us.
That'd kinda help. I
Yeah,
mean,
you go
I
up
think
there,
probably
do that.
30 we was gonna get at that too.
And
If
then
you don't
if
mind.
Two of them.
No.
Don't tell them anything, just tell them you want to buy another truck. Tell them what you need.
Yes, sir. And I do, on a positive note, very positive, we ain't spending money, we're saving money.
Mama would love you.
We've been waiting a long time for this, or let me put it this way, I've been waiting a long time for it. This all started taking place year and a half ago, and, I've been on the phone actually with ISO, And I say it's always a sore subject when I come in here tonight, it's a good one. I received the email from the manager this morning, before 8 o'clock actually. And, he's telling me here, I'll just read it. Chief, just following up on the status with the update for the survey. I checked with the office on the status. They are still behind with processing surveys since COVID, but I am pushing this one ahead. And that meant a lot to me when he told me that. Since I did the updates, you are showing a 5.x, which is an improvement from the 6.66. So we're back in the 5 where we were at. But with what I do know that we went through, and if it wasn't for the commissioners, you know, stepping in and helping with that, we wouldn't be where we're at now. But as far as that goes, it takes work of the water departments, the 911, and the fire department. Everybody's involved.
Right.
So,
Is that
It's great.
Go ahead, sorry, Coach.
and it's, you can see the
Yes.
second page there. I'm sorry.
No, I said, that's great.
Yes.
Glad to see that. We've been waiting a while for that one.
We have. In fact, I'm happy now. And it will go out for publication November 2021.
Be
So this
pretty
year.
much effective.
Yes, and that's kind of the way it was when it actually creeped up on us too. There was a deadline there.
Well, that's a big step for us on the way to 4, right?
Yes.
So heck, yeah. Just gotta keep plugging on.
Actually, all in all, my goal would be a 1. I don't know if we'll do it here in the mountains, but a 3, if we can get down to a 3, that's when we can actually post a 3 on a fire truck. Until you're a 3 or lower, you can't put it on your truck. And I'll choose.
3 is good enough.
3 is.
Just do one step at a time to get there.
Yes,
If
sir.
you don't shoot for it, you're never gonna get
That's
it.
right.
You gotta
But
shoot for it.
I tell you what, I'd like for you to get us at some point in time, and that would be all of us, is a list of what it would take to get down to a 4. I mean, I know the hard work that went into it to get it from a 6 to a 5, but I sure would like to see what it get from a 5 to a 4. And that way, that gives us something as commissioners to look at, and something we can work on to try to help out the citizens as well. I mean, first of all, it's a pride thing with us. I feel it is. So go to from a 6 to a 5. I mean, that's a good step. But go from a 6 to a 4. Heck yeah, you know, and then all of a sudden you get that 3 and start putting them on your trucks. But to get that list to where we can see what we need to do as commissioners, to help that situation out, to help out our citizens in the county, because that's what it's all about, is helping our citizens in the county. So,
Right. One step at a time.
but yeah, I appreciate that. That's
So
good
ask for no more money until you get a 3. Good job,
All
Larry.
right, thank you.
But don't forget to give him a poke up there tomorrow on that other
Yeah,
truck.
put it on.
Thank y'all.
But before we adjourn, just kidding, we'll go to public commentary. I forgot to throw that in. Ms. Thompson?
Good evening.
Hey.
Good evening.
Hope everybody's doing well. I came to talk about one of our neighbors, Gilmer County. And I've had some communication with Chairman Hensley. I appreciate your response on this. I listened to an audio recently of a planning and zoning committee meeting that they had in Gilmer regarding a rezoning. I'm going to read part of this because I want to make sure that I'm accurate in my notes. This was regarding a rezoning request of high density on 129 acres that border the Fannin line. The reason I'm here is because the property is accessed by roads that are 100% in Fannin County. So even though the property is Gilmer, the roads are to get to it are in Fannin. So Karen, I don't know her last name, who is the Gilmer LDO, she is on the audio, and she said that she tried to discover where and how they get to the property. The entrances are both in Fannin County. The first one is turning off 515 on Patterson Lane, and that's right there at the Citizen Building. Apparently, there's a 40-foot easement that has been given by Mr. Patterson to the parcel owner, and I guess that transfers over. There's another entrance through a National Forest easement through Weaver Creek Road, and they have the capability of using both. They're taking 5 parcels
that they're trying to get. 2 of the parcels are R1 and the other 3 are A1, and they're going to R2, so they're going high density. So the, Ms. Karen, the LDO, said she called Fannin and spoke with Marie Woody. She was concerned about the entrance and if Fannin would have issues with it. Ms. Woody's response was because it would come down to that easement and spill into 515, Fannin would have no issue. Someone asked her about the other entrance through Weaver Creek. Ms. Woody did, she responded, Ms. Woody did not make mention if they would approve that, they would probably have to have something from the National Forest to Fannin because Weaver Creek Road was paved up to that point where the easement starts through the forest. I think the reactions would probably be the same as far as the easement being brought up to a standard to the enter on Weaver Creek, which is a 2-lane paved road. They would have to get in touch with Fannin. This is the part that got me. When they start to develop, to make certain it would meet the standards. When they start to develop, to me, is like one step too late. So then they went to the representative for the development. He stated the property is 100% located in Gilmer and Patterson, and the other access is 100% in Fannin. And he also spoke with Ms. Woody, and she told him that they did not see any issues as far as traffic because Patterson's a private road and this spills out to 515, but they would need to work out some agreement there with the property owners. So here are some concerns that I've heard and concerns that I have. Patterson's a private road right now. Obviously, they're going to need a road for construction and road equipment to get in addition to when they finish the development for the people that live there to use. So they talked about asphalting the easement from Patterson into the parcel. So what happens to that road when the building is complete? Does it become a responsibility of the county or remain a private road? Because I know in my past dealings with zoning issues, whenever somebody has a private road, you know, they're the people, the property owners are responsible for it. So if they pave it, does it become a county responsibility or liability? I know that revenues from the taxes is fair amount to the government. We all like to get that tax money, right? And Gilmer would be getting the property tax revenue. So again, you know, we go back to that roadway. If we have responsibility for those roads, if they get paved, then, you know, kind of what's in it for us. We have a liability for upkeep, potential upkeep to something, but we're not getting the property tax for it. Access to Weaver Creek, I've been hearing from residents. I think we have one here tonight that may speak, that are either on or near Weaver Creek or the ASCO entrance, and they are concerned for potential traffic issues. Obviously, there are issues on ASCO, I know at different points. I know Mineral Springs has been one that's been identified. So that would be a traffic increase. It's 129. They were looking at up to 130 homes in the area. They said that that probably will not be confirmed for 130 just because of the terrain and everything, but they have the ability to do that through their zoning. The last question is, what I stated before, Gilmer's LDO referenced the standards for roads and said they would need to get in touch with Fannin when they start to develop. That's very concerning to me because I think that they need to be talking to you guys before they start to develop. And I hope that you will kind of keep a watch on this. We just need to make sure that our residents that live in that area are protected. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If I ever got truck shopping, I'm gonna come get
Come
you.
get me. We'll go to lunch too. I think Ms. Dawes, can you say something?
Well, and I think the Public Works Director, but as to what the federal government can do with a road through the Forest Service or National Forest, we have very little input. Again, we're in the process of rewriting our ordinances. Typically, what happens, good, bad, or indifferent in a situation like this is if the road doesn't meet the county standards, then the development of plat would say it doesn't meet Fannin County standards and it will never become a Fannin County public road. No developer can ever make a county or a city take over a road. That requires a vote of the entity where it is located.
Like putting in a turn.
Yes, yes. And I don't know, Zach, I haven't known of the Forest Service given many easements lately, like in the last 35 years.
So I think Patterson Lane would still stay private The one that we wouldn't have to worry about would be Weaver Creek.
Right.
We kept with, and that would be you, so.
Yes, sir, that's right. Come in, my name is Brandon Mathis. I live on Weaver Creek Road. My grandmother actually named Weaver Creek Road, and she would turn over in her grave. I'm here to make sure that that
If
access.
it was paved or left dirt?
What's that?
If it was paved or left dirt?
If it goes through to 515.
Oh,
Yes, sir. So I'm here to make sure that that doesn't happen. And we need to figure out what I need to do to make sure that that doesn't happen, along with dozens and dozens of people that are very concerned about it. Weaver Creek is already a highway. You know, there's so many rental cabins and so much building and everything going on right now that we don't need any more traffic on that road. So it's very, very concerning to me, as it would be to my grandmother if she wasn't here. She would sit on her front porch, and about twice a day she'd sit there for 15 hours, and twice a day you'd hear her clap and hoop and holler, and that's when she'd see a car go by. Now I can barely get out of my driveway. It's right on Weaver Creek Road, and if you put 130 houses at the end of that road, which I don't even understand how that works, because that's part of the Benton Mackay Trail. It dead ends into the trail. There is an old logging road through there, and it did used to be open up to 515.
is that on federal property? Federal land?
It's National Forestry.
National Forest?
Yes, sir.
That would be-
So I just want to make sure that doesn't happen. That's why I'm here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else? We will close public commentary. Gentlemen, you don't need executive session this evening, Commissioner Patrick?
I don't think I did.
I ain't come up with anything,
Well, neither, so we'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.